So this is exciting because we've been wanting to come to Mesa Verde for a while, and it's really far away from our home base. And it's also in Colorado, which we've wanted to explore states other than Colorado, but it happened to be on our way. And when we were originally planning our route and all of the COVID stuff happened, we thought it was going to be closed because it was closed. There wasn't a reopen date, but they've opened it now with limited availability. So I have a feeling a lot of the national parks this year are going to be open in this way, where they're open, but they're open with limited resources. So it'll be interesting to find out what exactly that looks like and what exactly that means. So we're going to kind of find that out today and see what is available, what's not. But we're still going to be able to check this national park off of our list and add our little national park sticker to the RV and say we've ticked one more off the list. So it's pretty exciting to be able to be here today. So since the visitor center is closed, they do have an app that you can download that has the maps. So I just finished downloading the app. It's a pretty dang big app. It's a good thing I have lots of room on my phone. But it also has the ability then where you can download the Junior Ranger books and print them out and then be able to mail them in.
How you doing? Got one of these guys.
Does it got a number on there?
Yeah, 197075. One, two, three, four.
So one of the things that we are finding here as we are driving around through the park is just that there's a lot of the cliff dwellings that would normally be open for viewing that are not. So we're gonna go down this path and hopefully be able to view this one at least from a distance. But when it's fully open and fully functional, there's a lot more that you can see. We knew that we weren't gonna have all of those things available, and it was just gonna be a crapshoot on what we could see. But we're gonna go down here and take a look and see what we can at least see from this vantage point. Behind me here is one of the cliff dwellings that you can actually get a pretty good view from this overlook. Now, normally you would be able to do ranger-led tours into some of these, but not right now. But I would still say it's definitely worth it, and I'm really glad that we decided to come up here to be able to see this because it's very, very impressive. These were discovered actually by ranchers in the 1800s, and then basically reported to the Department of Interior that these were here in existence. So it's kind of interesting to think what it would have been like as a rancher and then just stumbling upon this. You know, every time that we come to a place like this where you see kind of like, ancient communal style dwellings, it just makes me realize how much that sometimes I miss like community, and how community sometimes just makes life so much easier when you would have had this type of communal lifestyle even with having kids, and everybody's kids are running around with everybody else's kids, and everybody's just kind of watching out for the kids, and it just makes life a ton easier when you're doing life with other people. And I think that that is one thing with RV life that sometimes can be a little bit difficult at times, is having that sense of community. Even though you have the RV community and you meet people along the way, but then you tend to part ways and go your own separate ways. So it's always super fun when you can meet up with people on the road and have that sense of community. But I think there's just something to be said for when you do life with others, and when you have that sense of community, and when you have your tribe, and when you have that type of support system for just doing life in general, which obviously these ancestral pueblos, that's what they did, and that obviously made life easier for them. They thrived in that environment, and that's what they wanted, because I mean, they built their dwellings where they would all be together in community. And so I think there's a lot to be said for that, and I think there's a good lesson that we can all learn from that. And what can we all do, to try to create that sense of community as best as possible when we're living life on the road. So that was definitely worth the view, to be able to see it. And you could actually see it really, really well from that particular overlook. So definitely worth coming out. We kind of weren't sure what all we would be able to see, how close, but that was a great view, to be able to see that one particular dwelling, tons that were there. So definitely worth it. This is a little bit of a hike, a little high elevation. Going down was easier than going up. So one thing with the hiking trails here that we've done, and I know looking at the map, there's a ton more hiking trails, but something to remember is this is very much a kind of high desert type of climate. So it is very dry. So bringing some water is a really good idea, just because it's so dry. It's also high in elevation. And so usually the higher in elevation that you are, the easier it is for your body to become dehydrated. So that's something you definitely want to remember, is plenty of water when you come out and you do any of the trails here at Mesa Verde. So there's a fork in the trail. So yeah. Right or left?
I'm thinking right.
No, there's 3 forks.
Although it does look like, look, if you look out there, do we think that, well, we were standing underneath it though at the other place. I don't know.
I bet it loops. I think it loops around.
All right, well, we're gonna find out here.
Where it is.
Oh, we were like almost right on top of it, weren't we?
Almost. See, there was gonna be a trail leading down to that right there.
No fears or regrets. Just take the jump and hold your breath. It feels good to be alive. Oh, if you trip, get up again. Here we go, we're ascending.
Okay, so we are going to head down the Soda Canyon Overlook Trail. We were actually just, what trail were we on?
It wasn't a trail.
Or what?
It was where if you had the ticketed tour for what's called Balcony House, basically we were standing on top of where that would be. And normally when the park's fully open, then you can get a ticketed tour to go down to Balcony House. But that's not available right now.
So we're gonna do the next best thing and go take the Soda Canyon Overlook Trail. It's about a 1.2 mile hike. So we're gonna go ahead and check it out.
So kind of across this direction, you can see what's called the Balcony House. And it's cool looking, but it's not as good of a view as the other one, which is the Spruce House, I believe, that we saw from the one overlook there. So overall, I'm glad we came. It was definitely worth it. It was worth the stop. It was worth the extra time to see what we were able to see, even with the limited ability. We'll be printing out the Junior Ranger books for the kids so they can fill those out, and we'll mail those in so they can get their Junior Ranger badges for this particular national park. And we can check it off our list and put our sticker on the RV saying we've been here. But just if you come this year in 2020, be prepared, check the website to know that it's going to be a little bit more of a limited experience. I am glad we came, but this is a little disappointing that, we didn't quite get the full-on experience, but that's okay. Things are what they are, and it was definitely still worth coming. But about now, I'm hungry and kind of like over Mesa Verde, and I'm ready to go get some lunch. So we're gonna hit the road and go into Cortez, Colorado and fuel up and get something to eat and call this a wrap on Mesa Verde National Park.
So like what I really didn't like about this place is like all the cave dwellings look the same.
What did you like about it?
I thought it was like cool because I don't think I've ever seen any of these cave dwellings or something like that. But I'm really sad that we didn't get to do the tours. Here.
So you're gonna put that back on ball.
So what he said was...
Okay, don't look at this. It's inappropriate. Trinity.
Life is